Gundelfingen im Breisgau is a municipality directly north of the city Freiburg in Baden-Württemberg in southern Germany. Gundelfingen is one of the larger municipalities in the Breisgau-Hochschwarzwald district. It consists of the old place Gundelfingen and the village Wildtal, which was included in the municipality in the 1970s. History. Gundelfingen was founded in the 4th century, so at least the suffix -ingen suggests. The name means that some Alemannic chief by the name of Gundulf settled there with his folk. The first sure sign of Gundelfingen's existence is found in a 1008 treaty, where a place called Gundelfingen is named. In 1327, Gundelfingen was sold by Counts Conrad and Friedrich of Freiburg to Bernlap. In 1507, his successor Balthasar von Blumenegg sold Gundelfingen again, this time to Margrave Christopher I of Baden. Since then it was part of Baden. In the 16th century, some 350 inhabitants lived in Gundelfingen. In 1825 it was 620. In 1950 1,817. Only in the 1960s and 1970s the numbers started to expand quickly to 5,016 inhabitants in 1970 and 11,000 inhabitants in 2002. Wildtal was first named in a document in 1273 as Wildtal or Wolfstal. The present name just translates as Wildale. Administration. In 1972, Wildtal was included into the municipality of Gundelfingen after 3/4 of its citizens voted for this inclusion. The mayor of Gundelfingen is at the same time the mayor of the neighboring village Wildtal, which is associated for administrative purposes. Environs. On the territory that belongs to the municipality of Gundelfingen you can, inter alia, find the following: Protestant church stork's nest. Since 1993 storks are nesting again in Gundelfingen. The nest is on the steeple of the Protestant church at the corner of the streets Kirchstrasse and Kirchenwinkel. Lutherie-isch. The Lutherie-isch, which was planted next to the Protestant church in 1883 on the occasion of 400th birthday of the reformer Martin Luther, was the first natural monument of Gundelfingen. A plaque commemorating it is on the outside wall of the church. The tree of a height of 50 feet was felled in 2011 because of dry rot. It is highly likely that a new oak will be planted in its place, perhaps in 2017 when the 500th anniversary of the Protestant Reformation will be celebrated. Such an oak has the function of a monument commemorating the Reformation. The very first oak with that purpose was planted in Wittenberg on the same spot where Luther had publicly burned the papal bull. East of the railway pond. This pond is located in a small park in the middle of the residential area MC to the east of the train station. Mallards as well as goldfish are living there. Birding trail. Further to the east, in the forest just above the streets Sonnhalder and Jägerfad, there is a very interesting birding trail with more than 40 nest boxes where numerous species of birds are breeding. Furthermore, a large number of birds which do not have the nests in cavities can be observed there as well. Reberg. The hill to the south of this area and the north of the street Reberg itself to the north of the road connecting Gundelfingen and Wildtal, is called Reberg, which is the German word for vineyard, because on its slope grapes are cultivated for winemaking. The varietals cultivated here are primarily for red and white Burgundy. Leonach. Further to the northeast there is a low saddle called Leonach, 1,060 feet above sea level, which offers a magnificent view towards the north and the south. Wildtal is the name of both the village pertaining to Gundelfingen and the valley. The most important stream of this valley and of Gundelfingen is the Schobach. Dorfbrunnen in Wildtal. At the corner of the streets Heuweiler Weg and Talstrasse, you see the Dorfbrunnen. Talstrasse. The Talstrasse leads you right through the whole Wildtal valley. Wildtalereck. At the end of the valley you come to the Wildtalereck, 1,496 feet above sea level, from where you have a magnificent view towards the west. Waldbrunnerhof. From the Talstrasse the Waldbrunner Weg branches off towards the south. From around the farm called Waldbrunnerhof, 482 feet above sea level, one has a good view. The Waldbrunner Weg leads you to the castle. Zähringen Castle. The shortest way is from the cemetery of Wildtal through the mountain forest to the spot where Zähringen Castle stood. Its tower is still standing. There is a restaurant nearby where you can also drive by car from Freiburg's suburb Zähringen. Reuterbacherhof. Reut means clearing, Bach stream, and Hof yards. The Reuterbach is a stream having its source on the Rosskopf, and the Reuterbacherhof are remote farmhouses on this mountain which are connected by a road, the Pochgasse, to Freiburg's suburb Zähringen. The area where they are located has the same name as the stream and is also called Reuterbach. It was an enclave of Gundelfingen until the expansion of its boundaries by the incorporation of Wildtal. Once Reuterbach was an independent village and even larger than either Gundelfingen, Wildtal or Zähringen. The reasons for the degradation were religious and political. Whereas Gundelfingen and Reuterbach were Badisch, Wildtal and Zähringen belonged to Further Austria. As a result of the Reformation, Baden became Protestant and hence Reuterbach a religious enclave. Most of the territory that once constituted Reuterbach now belongs to Zähringen. Leftovers of the church of Reuterbach were discovered under the parking lot in the Harbachweg in the forest of Zähringen just across the bridge over the Reuterbach. In the past the villages Zähringen, Wildtal, and Gundelfingen belonged to the former parish of Reuterbach. The aforementioned parking lot is also a trailhead for walks to the Reuterbacherhof and other spots on the Rosskopf such as the Rosskopf-Turm. Rottekers Ruhr. From Zähringen Castle you walk through the mountain forest to a spot called Rottekers Ruhr, 1,935 feet above sea level. Once there stood a farmhouse owned by Karl von Rottek. In its place there is now a small hut where you can rest. Rosskopf. The mountain on which you are walking is called Rosskopf. It rises to 2,418 feet above sea level. Rosskopf-Turm. Just north of the summit of this mountain and next to a small hut, the Rosskopf-Turm, a 115 feet high lattice tower is standing that was built in 1889 and offers a panoramic view of Freiburg, the surrounding mountains and the upper Rhine valley with the Tuniberg and the Kaiserstuhl, and on some days, when the visibility is particularly good, you can even see the Vosges on the opposite side of the upper Rhine valley beyond the Alsatian plain in France. Martinsfelsen. Walking towards the east you will reach the Martinsfelsen, 2,250 feet above sea level, are offering a good view of the northern Breisgau wind turbine. In 2003, 4 wind turbines were built. One of these 4 wind turbines is standing on the section of the mountain which belongs to Gundelfingen. Due to these wind turbines, the Rosskopf is now easily recognizable from a distance. Protected area. A large part of the mountainous area in the east of Gundelfingen was classified as a protected area of Baden-Württemberg under the name Landschaftsschutzgebiet Gundelfingen Wildtal Heuweiler. Heuweiler is a neighboring village which is associated with Gundelfingen for administrative purposes. Religion. A church was mentioned in Gundelfingen for the first time in 1275. However, only since the implementation of the Reformation in the Margraviate of Baden in 1556 Gundelfingen had its own minister. The Baptists established themselves in Gundelfingen in 1877. The Catholic parish church Brother Klaus was built in 1975. There is even a Russian Orthodox chapel in an isolated location in the Rosswinkel, which is cut off by Bundesstraße B3, which is bypassing Gundelfingen in the west. Road traffic. The region has a well-developed road network. Bundesstraße B3, which once crossed Gundelfingen, is now bypassing it so as to tackle traffic congestion. Nevertheless, on its former course through Gundelfingen, it is still called Alte Bundesstraße and remains its main street connecting it with Freiburg. Bundesstraße B294 is also closely bypassing Gundelfingen and connecting it with Autobahn A5. Moreover, there are local roads to the neighboring villages Heuweiler and Vorstätten. Public transport. Bus and tram. Gundelfingen is served by feeder buses to the tram network operated by Freiburger Verkehrsag, OVS Schumacher, Rastreisen and Binninger. Lines 15, 16, 13 and 24. Buses to the hinterland are operated by Südbaden-Bis, but practically all are bypassing Gundelfingen and you have to change in Freiburg. In addition, bus line 201 from Freiburg to Vorstätten and further on to Reutten-Nimburg, which is operated by Binninger. Near the border to Freiburg is the new terminal station off the tram line 2. In the morning and in the afternoon, line 5 is driving to the station, which name is Gundelfingerstrasse 2. The station is also the terminal station of the bus lines 13, 15, 16, 22, 24, 25,201, 7,203 and 1076. Rail. Gundelfingen is located on the Rhine Valley Railway line Karlsruhe, Basel, and the trains of two regional train operators are stopping at its train station, DB Regio and Breisgau-Hochschwarzwald. Where to get off? When you come by train, it is always the train station. Otherwise, to explore the town centre you best get off the bus at a stop containing the word Rathaus. If you want to explore the residential area to the east of the railway line and its surroundings such as the birding trail, the best bus stop is Waldstrasse, and for Wildtal you best get off at Obermatten. Carnival. In Gundelfingen there are two official carnival clubs, Gundelfinger Dorhexen. Fastlestemmer. Twinning. The first twinning arrangement was concluded in 1987 with the French town Meung-sur-Loire, which has 6,800 inhabitants and is located directly on the Loire, approximately 19 miles from Orléans. 10 years later, in 1997, followed the Polish town Bierun with approximately 20,000 inhabitants, 12 miles south of Katowice in Upper Silesia. Since 1997, a partnership has been maintained with the Saxon village Scheibenberg, which has almost 2,400 residents.